celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
We'd love to talk to you. Dr. Debbie is here. Alan Cable is here. Joey Villani is stuck in Denver. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's stuck at the airport.
Oh, poor guy. Trying to get back across the country, back to California for the show. Didn't make it in time, unfortunately. But we'll help you with your grooming questions anyway. Before we hit the phones, this is really cool. You've booked, again, just another phenomenal show. We're having on a lady who has a pet octopus. Now,
how fun.
I know this is weird. We've had people on that have had all kinds of weird animals, but I think this is a first.
Yeah.
You've probably never treated one, Dr. Debbie.
No, I haven't, but I've eaten them, and they're delicious.
Judy, you had to go there.
I'm so sorry. I had to.
You got to eat something.
Yeah,
how come nobody cares about the poor cows? They're
cute. Okay. Well, so we'll find out. Just don't mention that when she gets on the phone that you've eaten octopus before.
Tell her an octopus ate me.
We're also having on a dentist, not just a regular dentist, but a dentist that does dental work on wild animals like chimpanzees, orangutans,
bears, and tigers, and
all those.
Hippos, my gosh.
So that's all.
Maybe you can do my crazy aunt.
No one could get in her mouth, I'll tell you that right now. She actually needs to have that thing sewed shut. I remember from the last reunion.
Well, she's only got one tooth, and she's trying to keep it.
I see in the office here that one of the secretaries has quitted smoking, and she's using one of these vaporizers. Have you seen these things?
What do they call them? E-cigarettes? You see a lot of them nowadays.
Yeah. Well, news comes out of, this is the UK, where a Staffordshire Bull Terrier thought to have become the first pet to die after eating one of these e-cigarette refill fluids.
Oh, no.
Of course, it's liquid nicotine is what it really is. And apparently all they had to do was just bite into it. Within moments, the animal was sick and a fatality.
See,
yes.
I just think my method is so much more effective.
Yeah, what is that?
But nobody will. Well, you just, I have these people, these minions, and they'll follow you around with a water pistol filled with gasoline, and every time you light up, they just shoot you.
With gasoline.
That's actually not
effective.
It is effective. That is a good idea.
You'd only do that once.
Stacy, what are you working on?
Well, it's the season for egrets to nest. And in Fort Worth, Texas, they're having some problems with that because these huge birds are leaving huge droppings. Oh. And all of their lawns that were once green are now turning brown. But these neighbors in the neighborhoods where these birds nest have gotten together, and they've come up with a plan to get those birds the heck out of there. I don't know if I'd want to live in this neighborhood because what they're planning is going to be pretty loud. I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
And let's take another one for Dr. Debbie. We have Randy. Hey, Randy.
Hi.
Oh, a female Randy. How are you doing?
Yes.
Where are you calling
Good.
from today?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
What's going on with your animals?
Well, they're, getting cold. I have several cats, and one started off with a cold and got her better, and then another one started another cold, a bad eye cold, got him better, and then one of my kittens started coughing and sneezing, something different from all the others. And I thought it was a cold, but it wasn't getting better, and it was just getting worse. So I took her to the vet, and he ended up saying that it was asthma.
Okay.
So, but my other cat ended up having the same symptoms as this cat, so I figured it was just a bad cold and not asthma.
Okay.
With the reverse sneezing and the coughing and regular sneezing, and like it made this noise and gestures of coughing up a hairball as well, and it was just something I've never seen before.
Okay. And the timing of this cat being sick to the others was how close to the other kitties?
Oh, within weeks.
Within a week.
But the kitten that had the reverse sneezing and all that the vet said had asthma, my other cat ended up having the same symptoms like days later.
So did we do anything to treat the kitty that had the presumed asthma as far as any medications, anything that was done?
Well, I was already giving her amoxicillin that I got from, I had just taken her to get vaccinated a week before, and I called them up. I said, hey, is there any way you can just, send over a prescription to get some amoxicillin, because I know she has at least a cold. So I started her on amoxicillin. When I took her to the vet, they sent me home with prednisone. So I was giving her that, and I really think it helped because she is almost better. I mean, she's sneezing a little bit right now. It's been almost 2 weeks, and both of them are almost completely better.
Well, that's good. I would tell you, I find that a little bit unusual because for cats, when we're talking about respiratory infections or colds, 90% of the time, these are infections that are viral caused. Okay. So a lot of times we'll throw antibiotics at cats that have what we call a cold, and it really only helps treat secondary infections. So it doesn't really do anything for the virus. And in most cases, it's either calicivirus or herpes virus. And these are viruses that, they can be exposed to as kittens, and they can harbor, and then it may come out later in life with other things that may occur. So you mentioned that she had just had vaccinations recently, and that challenges the immune system. So if she were faced with a respiratory agent shortly after getting vaccines, she might not have the immune ability to really kind of fight that fully. And typically, if we have viral infections in cats, respiratory infections, we don't typically treat that with steroids unless there's a really strong component of inflammation or lower airway disease, so lower lung problems. So that maybe your cat has asthma. It's possible. Historically, when I get that kind of history, I don't really feel very strongly about that. I personally like to prove that with x-rays because we can see some pretty significant or typical changes in the lungs in cats who have asthma.
He did take an x-ray to see if it was in anything in the lungs, and it wasn't pneumonia, and he just came to the conclusion that it was asthma. But then when my other cat was getting the same symptoms, I was like, it just must be a cold. And he did come to the conclusion that there was inflammation, so I think that's why he gave the prednisone.
Yeah. And the test will be, in the evidence, from here forward, because cats with asthma usually don't have just one episode. This would typically be something you're going to see more of. Okay. So, any cat with asthma, just like a person with COPD, you throw the flu or something at a person who has a lung problem, and they're going to get substantially sicker. So I think that would be something that, I'm glad the whole household of kitties is healthy now, but it would be very important to make sure everyone's up to date on their vaccines, that you keep kind of a close watch on that, preferably indoor kitties, so we're not getting outdoor exposure to a lot of other infectious disease, and really watch her particularly close. And the typical asthma type symptoms, the dry kind of cough where it sounds like they're going to blow something out of their throat. That kind of coughing spasm, if that's an ongoing thing, then we definitely look at things like steroids or bronchodilators for those kitties that have long-term problems with that. And let me ask, is she a kitty that's a little ample around the belly side?
No. She's a kitten. I bottle fed her. She was like 3 weeks old. But no, she's still a little tiny though. I don't know if gray cats stay smaller than other cats longer, but she's a little gray cat, and she's very small. And she was probably born in June, so she doesn't have a big belly at all.
Yeah, so I was going to say, because normally a cat with asthma tends to be the kind of the overweight male cat is kind of the poster child for asthma. So I'm going to be still a little skeptical, and I think I would definitely be cautious because asthma in a kitty under 1 year of age is really unusual. Okay. So just be watchful.
Didn't you mention last week, Dr. Debbie, that like the steroids, the prednisones actually could start or awaken these herpes virus or colds, upper respiratory infections?
Yes, exactly. So sometimes I've run into patients that we use steroids for other health conditions, and all of a sudden the whole cat household will start breaking with a respiratory infection. And what it can do is if a pet has been previously exposed to calicivirus, herpes virus, it kind of hides in the body and they may not be sick. But when we suppress their immune system with a steroid, it actually brings that out, and we can see sneezing, coughing cats, and it won't be just that cat. They can actually reactivate that virus and spread it to the other cats in the home. So, that's one reason I'm not particularly very free with giving steroids to sneezing, coughing cats. It's got to be a pretty overwhelming reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, I don't know, it could have been that, or it could have been the amoxicillin that was helping it, because I was giving it both, like, every day.
And most respiratory infections, these viral respiratory infections, if we do nothing in the average cat within 7 to 10 days, they'll get better.
Yeah.
So that too, if we look at that timeline.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad your kitties are all better, and you just keep watching that respiratory stuff and make sure we don't have snifflers or sneezers there.
Sneezers? Is that like a sneeze and a seizure at the same time, a sneezer?
Dr. Debbie? Mm-hmm. Is that a new lab coat you're wearing? It's mighty becoming.
Are you trying to flatter me for some reason, Alan?
No. Yeah, I want to be bottle fed.
The kind of bottle you want to drink from, I don't think we're going to be able to allow you to have during the day hours.
I love a woman in a lab coat. I just love that. So dedicated to your work.
Well, you lucky dog, don't forget you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. It's made possible by Fear-Free Happy Homes, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfreehappyhomes.com.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
A British woman who thought the vibration she was feeling was her cell phone was surprised to find the vibrations coming from her bra. And even more surprised to find the vibrations coming from a baby bat. 19-year-old Abby Hawkins wore the bra for 5 hours while working as a hotel receptionist before finding the baby bat. She said she was shocked but felt bad for disturbing the cuddly bat, who looked cozy and comfortable, adding she perhaps could have left it in there and given him a good home. Hawkins doesn't know how the bat got in there. She said she had had a drink or two the night before and got dressed quickly that morning. The bra was in a drawer but had been on the clothesline the day before. The bra bat, which had scampered under a desk, was captured by a co-worker and set free. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Do your dogs go nuts when they hear fireworks or during a bad thunderstorm? It's not their fault. They have sensitive ears. You love your dog, and so do we. That's why we developed a perfect solution for your loved pets by eliminating the harmful noise. It's called Doggy Hush, a unique waterproof set of headphones that go over your dog's ears. They're so comfortable, your dog won't even know they're wearing them. And when this happens, your dog will feel and stay safe and stress-free. Go to doggyhush.com. Enter the promo code we're about to give you for a free special gift. Again, buy Doggy Hush for your dog today and protect your dog's ears from fireworks, thunderstorms, and a lot more harmful noises. Go to doggyhush.com and enter this promo code, Radio4. Radio and the number 4. Go to doggyhush.com right now and enter the promo code Radio4. Again, that's promo code Radio4.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
And we go to... Who are we going to there, Judith?
We're going to go to line 2 and speak to Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
Hi.
How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm going crazy.
Aren't we all, girl? Aren't we all?
I have 2 large dogs that refuse to be contained anywhere.
I'm sorry to laugh at you, sweetie pie.
Oh, no, trust me. That's all I can do. It's either laugh or cry.
So what do you mean they refuse to be contained?
Well, I got this house, and it's got a huge backyard, and I put them out while I'm at work. Well, there's dogs on the other side of the fence. They're trying to get under the fence or through the fence.
Through the fence, under the fence. They want at them, though. They want those dogs, don't they?
Oh, yes. Or they want the people walking on the other side of the fence near the canal, or they want the chickens in the back part of the fence.
Yep.
On the other side of that fence. It's okay, so we've been fighting this battle for a while, and we keep patching the holes, and we keep patching the fence. So finally I said, I'm going to build a new fence about 3 feet away from the original fence.
You know, girlfriend, there is no fence that can contain a dog. Do you know that? And in my opinion, my humble opinion, I don't like to let my dog out unaccompanied in the backyard until I've taught him with patience and leadership and kindness and consistency over time the rules, what I want, what I expect, and distracted him and taught him, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want you to do. And, you got a big problem. There's no easy solution to your problem. A lot of people think that because they get so emotional that they got to let their dogs out in the yard, and they don't want to contain their dogs, they don't want to lock their dogs up, and so they're not around to actually lead and teach. And when you're not around to lead, teach, and distract, well, dogs get into trouble. They want to go after those other dogs because they interpret those dogs as they want them to go away. Hey, you're on my turf, go away. So you know why they're doing what they're doing. The question is how to stop it. And the only way to stop it, there are little things you could do. You could put like a cedar along the fence or bricks along the fence so they can't dig. Or some people have tried mothballs, which are dangerous. You got to make sure the dog can't get them. What they do is they put them in a can and they put little holes in the can because dogs hate the scent of mothballs. But if they eat them, it's poison. So you got to be careful with that.
Oh, it gets worse, by the way.
How does it get worse?
So I put up the new fence. They broke off the pickets, the top of the pickets, so they could jump over that fence to get to the original fence and continue digging.
That makes sense.
So then I brought them in the house. I have kind of a duplex, so I thought, okay, fine. I'll lock them in the back house while I'm at work. They broke down the door and ripped off the door jamb to get to my house.
I have some questions for you. First of all, we had the same problem with Hal, and it took many, many months of training.
Yeah,
many months. Long time.
Probably more than a dog.
Yeah, much more time than a dog. My question to you is this: how long are you gone each day?
I have 4 jobs.
Wow. So why did you get dogs? I'm curious.
Well,
why did you?
When I got them, I only had the one job, and I was a stay-at-home. I was a caregiver in the home.
Gotcha.
But he has since been put in a nursing home, and my boyfriend was here, but he got kicked out.
How much do you know about why your dogs do what they do?
I understand why. It still doesn't change the fact that I can't have them do it.
Yeah, you can't have them do it, but how can you prevent them? How can you stop them? You see, if you're not around, and you don't want to kennel them, then there's really no way for you to stop them.
I do kennel them at night, and that's kind of where I was going with that, of going, I don't want to kennel them all day and then kennel them all night too.
First things first, I understand what you're going through. Now you have to understand how you can change it, and to do that you have to listen. It's very, very, very complicated. It's not simple, and yet it really isn't complicated. Your dogs need stimulation, they need exercise, they need time with you. And if you're not there to give your dogs time, and if you're not there to exercise your dogs and socialize your dogs around other dogs and teach them what it is right and what it is not right, desirable and undesirable, there is no solution. You see, there's no magic solution. People want a magic solution. They want a pill. There is no pill. It's complicated. It takes time to change dogs and their behaviors. And you have to be there. There's no other way to do it. You have to be there. You have to be outside with your dogs when they're out, and as soon as they make their move to do the crazy behavior, you got to distract them. You got to take their mind off of it. Some people throw a can of coins right at their feet. Some people slam kitchen drawers. Some people make a loud dog whistle noise with some object that they have, or turn a power drill on. You focus their mind on something completely different, because once they get in that state of mind, a correction probably isn't going to work. So you got to refocus them, and then you have to understand how to give them corrections, and then you have to understand how to reinforce the positive behavior with rewards and saying, good boy, when they're doing what you want. And over time, they start to figure out, oh, okay, she doesn't want me digging, and she doesn't want me pulling the fence down and going after these other dogs, and I'm going to do it because I respect her, and she's a leader. She's my leader, and I'm going to follow her. When you are home, you're going to have to every single day take these dogs for a bike ride, whatever it is, attach the leashes to your bicycle, and you're going to have to tire them out. Exhaust them. And then if you do that for about a half hour, 45 minutes a day, they're not going to mind being kenneled, because they're just dogs love to sleep. They love their kennel. When you're home, you let them out. You exercise them. You spend time with them. You correct them if they're doing bad behavior in the backyard. But you cannot let them be in the backyard by themselves, because there is no magic fix. A lot of people think, oh, I'll get an electric fence. That can do so much more.
Said that to me too, and I'm like, no, I'm not electrocuting my dogs.
Well, you don't have to electrocute them, but the point is I agree with you because most people don't understand how to use these things properly, and you can get all kinds of problems. You can cause all kinds of problems with electricity. The dog will not make the association correctly unless you're around to teach him. Again, it's all about teaching.
Hey, listen, I want to dedicate today's show to you, Rachel, because you work 4 jobs. That is amazing. And to everyone that's working 4 jobs or even 3 jobs, you're good people keeping this country moving.
Do your dogs go nuts when they hear fireworks or during a bad thunderstorm? It's not their fault. They have sensitive ears. You love your dog, and so do we. That's why we developed a perfect solution for your loved pets by eliminating the harmful noise. It's called Doggy Hush, a unique waterproof set of headphones that go over your dog's ears. They're so comfortable, your dog won't even know they're wearing them. And when this happens, your dog will feel and stay safe and stress-free. Go to doggyhush.com. Enter the promo code we're about to give you for a free special gift. Again, buy Doggy Hush for your dog today and protect your dog's ears from fireworks, thunderstorms, and a lot more harmful noises. Go to doggyhush.com and enter this promo code, Radio4. Radio and the number 4. Go to doggyhush.com right now and enter the promo code Radio4. Again, that's promo code Radio4.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. I don't know about you, but my dog always barks at the mailman. There's something about the mailman that just drives my dogs crazy. In fact, they will not even deliver mail at my house. I had to get a P.O. box because when I used to have a big German Shepherd Border Collie mix, he would always go after him. But dogs seem to go postal in L.A. more than any other U.S. city. The U.S. Postal Service released its rankings of the best and worst cities for dog attacks on mail carriers. L.A. recorded 69 incidents last year. San Antonio and Seattle round out the top 3 worst cities. Wichita, Kansas, that is the safest city with just 20 attacks. So if you want to be a mailman, stay away from the dogs. Wichita, Kansas is where you need to go. Almost 6,000 postal workers were attacked by dogs. An old video posted online could cause some new problems for 2 Florida men, one of which is seen jumping on top of a manatee and her calf.
It's right here. Look, it's a huge one.
I'm gonna get. Hey,
there's 2 of them.
Should I do it? Let's do it. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Let's do it. You ready for this? You ready?
Get him, Taylor. Get one.
What an idiot. The video was first posted on Facebook about a year ago, but now the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is launching an investigation. Officers have already identified the men in the video and say they could face state and federal charges for harassing the endangered mammals. Residents in Fort Worth, Texas are gearing up to scare away egrets before they nest. Last year, the egrets invaded neighborhoods, leaving behind droppings that filled the air with flies and turned some lawns brown. Because the egrets are protected by the Federal Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918, those giant birds can't be disturbed as they nest. This year, residents, though, are taking some preventative action and arming themselves with air horns and bells to scare off the giant birds if they fly around looking for places to build nests. Bill Campbell, who's president of the Tanglewood Neighborhood Association, tells the Fort Worth Star-Telegram that people don't want the birds to get comfortable nesting in their neighborhoods. He added that residents will probably have to scare off the birds every year. In the future, some neighborhoods are looking into building areas where the egrets can nest in peace. Wildlife Protection Group wants to work on a freeway project in Petaluma, California. Stop because it's causing the deaths of swallows there that nest in the bridge. The Press Democrat says concerns around the construction at the Highway 101 bridge right over the Petaluma River. The wildlife advocates say federally protected cliff swallows build mud nests in that bridge, and Caltrans' efforts to keep those birds away is allegedly killing the birds instead. So they're asking a federal judge to stop the work and force Caltrans to do additional environmental studies before they resume construction. I'm Stacy Cohen.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Don't forget, you can also ask your questions of the Dream Team using the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. It's a free download. I encourage you to go over and download it right now. This next guy is a dentist. You spent a lot of time at the dentist this week, Judy.
Oh, you know what? I don't think I'm finished either. I'm still in pain. So for my root canal, I don't even want to talk about it.
Don't want to talk about it, okay.
No.
Well, imagine this guy. He's not in the likes of your mouth. He's in the likes of bears, grizzlies, orangutans, wild dogs. He's a dentist for these wild animals. And we welcome him to the airwaves, Dr. Peter Emily. Hi, Doc. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very excited to speak to you. I've heard so much about what you do, and I just realized Dr. Debbie here knows you. How do you know each other?
I would have to say, practicing in Las Vegas, I have had many a case go over to see Dr. Emily through the years, and I will correct you, Alan or Hal. He is both a human and a veterinary dentist.
Oh, is that true? I did not realize that.
Yeah, I have a couple of degrees. A lot of degrees, not much money, but a lot of degrees.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry. So now, did you start as a human dentist and then move over, or do you practice both? Or did you practice both?
I'm at the point now where I said I work on everything that has a mouth, including people, dogs, birds, cats, reptiles, snakes, whatever it is, elephants, rhinos, hippos. I've worked on them all.
Well, I can't imagine what would you do with a snake? A root canal?
Well, the snakes are funny. The ones that I worked on were setting mandibular fractures, broken jaws, and usually from trauma, either from someone running over their head or one of the addicts out there kicking them in the face and breaking their jaws and things like that.
Wow. So an owner would actually come in and say, "Fix my snake who's been run over"?
Fix my snake, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Not a lot of them, but every now and then you get one of those.
Wow.
Well, your waiting room must be ridiculous, and your dental hygienist must be in the asylum by now.
Yeah, I just kind of have gun will travel. You know, I have all of my instruments are all packaged, and I just go where the occasion takes me. Whether it's in Brazil or Africa, or I was in Namibia working on cheetahs. I think we worked on about 50 or 60 cheetahs over there, and must have done, 100 root canals out there in the dirt and so forth like that. So it's a different thing. There wasn't 50. I think there was 60 cheetahs that we worked on.
Wow. Now, I could tell the dentist when I needed a root canal. I knew my tooth started hurting. But how do you know when an animal needs a root canal?
Well, these cheetahs were kept in a sanctuary there, and very big. I mean, their sanctuaries aren't like ours. They're measured in hectares, 2.2 acres per hectare, or 2.5, I think it is. But and there's 100,000 hectares, so you know how big that is. It's almost 300,000 acres.
Wow.
And they go out there and they capture them and they bring them in, and they bring them in at random. They have no idea, maybe a little bit as to what's wrong with them. There's probably only 5 or 6 of them we actually released back into the wild that didn't have dental disease of some kind. So they're susceptible to a lot of fracture and everything. And we worked on. I don't know if I'm preempting what you're trying to ask, but just tell me some of the crazy things we've done.
Oh, please.
No, hear it.
So we left there and I dropped down into South America. Went into Namibia and worked on one of the shelters down there. Worked on, I think there was a dozen jaguars and probably just as many bush dogs. The bush dogs are kind of an endangered species. They have different numbers of teeth than most carnivores, so they're a little bit different. They're a little squatty, look like about the size of a corgi, but they're really not dogs as we know them. They're a little bit different, but there's not many of them left. From there, we went into Brazil and a couple of sanctuaries there and worked on I think another jaguar and a hippo. And the hippo had a big problem. The problem with some of these sanctuaries, they just don't know how to take care of them as you find them in the wild.
They don't floss them every day, I don't think.
Well, that's it. Flossing is really a human thing because our teeth are kind of cuboidal. They're set up like a square. And we have those teeth in close contact. And to get the area between the teeth, that's when you drop the floss down in there. But most of the carnivores have blade-type teeth, or there's open spaces there. So nothing packs in between that and those blades. So they don't have to floss. It's just the way they're built.
So is still the anatomy of the tooth pretty much the same no matter what animal?
No. That's a problem. I don't know if she told you, but I have a sanctuary, a foundation, I should say. It's called the Peter Emily International Veterinary Dental Foundation. What I do is we take care of all these animals in shelters and sanctuaries. It's all pro bono to take care of all of their dental disease. And in the United States alone, I think there's probably 30,000 wild animals in the United States alone in about 1,000 different shelters and sanctuaries.
Wow.
That has nothing to do with zoo animals. These are just animals, whatever you can find in a zoo, you can find in a shelter and a sanctuary. And I take a team with me to go there and do the work. I can't address all of them, so we bring a lot of people in the College of Veterinary Dentistry as interns with us, so that they can bring it up to speed on what it's like to work on something besides dogs and cats, show them the differences, and maybe hopefully send them out to another shelter or sanctuary to work on it. So a teacher becomes a teacher type thing to take care of all of them.
Did you have any incidences where the anesthesia wore off too early?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I did. I was just telling Suzanne, she's the power to be that runs the shelter and sanctuary. We said that we were talking about they wanted to do a book. They've been trying to do a book on some of my travels and things I've started, because no one did animal dentistry before me. I started that whole crazy thing going back. Let's see, I'm only 28 years old now.
Yeah.
So I just had and so it started many, many years ago, 40-some years ago, 45, something like that. But I remember one time I was called two crazy incidences. I went back into the zoo back east, and there was a big run on polar bears and had needing root canal therapy. And when we were back there at this one polar bear, they always tell you, or they always want you to do whatever you have to do right then, so you don't have to re-anesthetize them. In other words, make sure that what you've done is all that they need to do, and there's not going to have any trouble with it in the future.
Sure.
So if you see an abscess tooth that's kind of infected and is draining on the outside, we call that a fistula. Well, you want to do the root canal. If you think of a root canal, kind of a little tangent here, it's like corking a bottle. You can clean out everything inside and cork it so what's left inside can't get out, and it's fine. So we're thinking this way we got to cork the bottle from the bottom up like your dentist would do, but then you got to go in surgically from the top and cork it in the back of the root, the top of the root, so it makes sure nothing gets out. So it's a double cork. It's like corking the bottle from the bottom and the top.
Uh-huh.
And so you make a big incision to go through that, in order so you can get into it surgically after you've done the other part. And I was just starting to sew up the suture, the opening surgical site, and Bear started to wake up, and he says, they had a hard time keeping him under anesthesia. He said, we got to go. I said, well, go ahead. So they put him on the cart, and they started wheeling him out. I'm riding on top of the bear, suturing him up, all the way over to his enclosure.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Well, let me give out the website. We're running out of time. You have so many great stories to tell, and I'm sure you're going to find out more information at the website at peteremilyfoundation.org. And I'll put links to everything you've heard on today's show over at animalradio.com. Thank you, Doctor.
Take care.
Okay.
That guy's fascinating.
He is. He is really the grandfather.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now.
800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
Okay, now be honest. When you were a kid, did you ever burn ants with a magnifying glass?
I didn't really burn them. No, I put them into little containers and let them live and watched them. I didn't kill them.
Good.
No, I like to collect them and just kind of carry them around in like little lockets and things. So it makes sense then, doesn't it?
What about you, Ellen? Did you do that as a kid? Yes, I think I did, Hal. What do you ask, Al? Well, I see here in the paper studies about ants show that when facing oncoming floodwaters, ants use their helpless babies as floating life preservers.
What?
Ants are they're just ruthless. They really are.
Wow.
If they were as big as us, we wouldn't exist.
No, it's
Guess
clever
so.
though. So it's the young ants, it's the baby ants
That are on the bottom.
They get flooded and they get eaten by fish.
So they're sacrificing their young.
Sacrificing their young.
Wow.
Wish I could do that.
That's horrible.
Yes, I wish I could do that to my middle one. My middle one's the one I'm after.
How old is she or he?
She's 13.
Uh-oh. That's a horrible age.
Tell me about it.
I was all kinds of rebel at 13, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, and girls are definitely far worse than boys, I have to say, you know.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yes.
She hates me.
I can admit it.
She's grossed out by me.
That's normal. I think at that age, girls they think their parents are ridiculously stupid. And you would disgust her. That makes sense.
I was embarrassed of my parents at that age. I would ask them to drop me off a block away from school. That's what I'd do. Hey, Carrie.
Hi.
Where are you calling from today?
From Bellingham.
Washington?
Yes.
Oh, it is so beautiful up there. What's going on?
Yeah, I have a Shepherd Akita. He's about 11 years old. In the last maybe 4 months or so, sort of getting progressively worse. He's started going to the bathroom on the floor. He'll poop on the floor. And and he's got two metal knees. We had 2 different knee replacements for the back. So at first I thought it was that he didn't want to have to go down the steps in the back to go out to the yard. And it was just sort of this is my preference. I'd rather not go out. But he'll go on his bed now, and it's gotten worse, so it's more than once a day. And it's sort of he'll stand up and then start moving, and it's almost like he doesn't know what's going to happen, and then it does. And so I don't know if it's because he's in pain or if there's something else going on or what I should do.
Okay. Well, and for the knee surgeries he's had, did he have ruptured ligaments in his knees?
He had... Let's see, he had, I forget the name of the surgery. It's like the 3-letter acronym, something
TPLO?
Replacement. So he tore his meniscus and then just like threw out his knee completely. So they had to like rebuild the joint.
Okay. So, that's further down, so not likely to be relating to continence problems. And I will be honest, he is in an age where we do sometimes see age-related incontinence issues, and some of them we can't do a lot for medically. The ones that we may be able to help and to help manage are those that are going to be based upon some kind of pain or discomfort that we can better control. So when I have a dog that's kind of having fecal incontinence, the first thing I like to do is take an X-ray of the lower spine area, kind of the hips and the lower spine. And the reason is that if we have any kind of disc narrowing, any kind of spinal disease, then I can say, we might be able to manage your pet's discomfort, even if he's not crying, with different medications or other therapies. So for lower spine disease, I have kind of a whole gamut of things that I'll pull out. One of them would be pain medicines like gabapentin or tramadol. They can be helpfully with nerve-derived pain. I actually, in my office, we started using a therapeutic laser and had some phenomenal results with treating pets with arthritis in the spine or other joints or what have you. And that's something that, just like with people, it can definitely help decrease inflammation and improve mobility. The other things beyond that, I might even look at acupuncture if we find that we have a lower spine disease that we might be able to work with. And then there's other traditional, non-steroidal pain relievers, things like that. But that would be the first kind of direction I would look at to see if he's a candidate for that kind of thing. If not, and I can tell you, I have a 12-year-old Labrador who has some mild fecal incontinence. It usually occurs just when he starts walking. Yeah. My former Labrador, it would kind of happen at all times. So when we're dealing with that, if we don't have pain, then sometimes I might manage things with diet changes. So one remedy I tried for my female dog was to go to a lower residue or a lower bulk food. Doesn't necessarily change the continence, but it can decrease the volume of feces that we might have to deal with, and that might make a difference for some pets.
Okay.
So that might be one thing to look at. And most of those kind of foods, you'd need to talk to your veterinarian just to get a recommendation on what they have. I used one called Low Residue by the IAMS company, and that kind of helped a little bit. But for my dogs and my geriatric dogs, it truly was a matter of old dog incontinence, and we really dealt with it as best as we could. And I do have some folks will say, should I put diapers on my dog? And I think that I would caution folks about that because it can be a double-edged sword. It can contain the feces.
Totally.
Yeah, but then you can run into, the basically diaper rash and infection.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to watch that. So yeah, that might be well worth it. Just, having the lower spine checked out and see if there's anything else we can be doing. Because, wow, 11 years old for an Akita Shepherd, that is definitely a respectable age.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I hope that helps you there, Carrie. Give us a call
That does.
back.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Debbie's here, dog trainer Alan Cable. Dog father Joy Villani stuck in Denver today. Apparently a victim
contained.
being contained in Denver.
Detained.
Is it detained?
Yeah,
Is
he's
he?
being detained.
By
Is
NSA?
it TSA?
It
Does
could be
TSA have him?
Tried to smuggle his clippers through security.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now.
800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joy Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
This hour, we are going to talk to an owner of an octopus. That's her pet. She wanted an octopus as a pet. She got one.
I think that would be so cool.
Why?
Yeah.
I want the jellyfish as pets, the kind that you go to the aquarium and you see the lights behind them. They look so soothing.
Well, they're pretty high maintenance, I understand. We'll find out more in just a few minutes. I think she has to have a 55-gallon tank for this octopus that she has. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you would think a minimum.
Huge. Yeah. Huge. I can't imagine why. They're just not furry and cuddly. I wouldn't want to cuddle up at night with an octopus. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. In just a couple of minutes, we'll be checking news also. And Stacey Cohn, what do you got going on?
Well, one of the hazards of being a postal worker is you can get bit by dogs a lot. In fact, postal workers carry, I think they carry pepper spray to scare the dogs away. I know mine did. Oh, my God, one year my mailman sprayed my dogs and my kids went ballistic on the guy. They almost bit him. Anyway, there are some safe cities if you're a postal worker where you won't get bit, and then there's some not-so-safe cities. And I'll give you the list coming up on Animal Radio News.
I cannot wait. Let's go to Norman. Hey, Norman, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Very good. Where are you calling from today?
Costa Mesa, California.
The lovely L.A. area. Or Orange County. That's Orange County, isn't it? It's just south of
it. Yeah, it's Orange County, right by the Orange County market.
Well, Judy's telling me that you're an inventor?
Yeah. My wife and I became inventors a couple of years ago. Not planning so.
Not planning to be sort of an accidental invention?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
What happened? What is it? What would you invent?
Well, basically, my wife was bugging me for quite some time about wanting to get a cat. And, well, quite honestly, I was more of a dog person, but she persisted, and I made a comment that if we want to get a cat, that she had to promise to clean the litter box herself, and she did. And so I got her a cat for her birthday. And wouldn't you know it, it was about a day later that I found myself in front of a litter box scooping up all these nice presents.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, it is. And actually, I come to find out after going through that litter boxes are the number one reason that cats are returned to shelters because mom and dad buy Susie or Johnny a cat with a promise that they're going to clean it, and then they end up not doing it, and then the cat ends up back in the shelter again.
Yeah. So you have a solution to this problem? What have you?
Yeah. Well, our solution is called Cats of Thrones. Shameless plug, catsofthrones.com. It's a toilet seat for cats.
A toilet seat for
we
cats.
We don't actually try to get a cat to use a human seat. We actually have designed a seat that goes underneath the human seat, and it provides comfort, stability, support for the cat. And the best thing of all right now, we have a 100% success rate with every cat ever on the system.
Really? Well, this is cool. Now, my wife is always complaining that my aim is off. With this, will the cat's aim be any better? How does this work? What does it look like? Explain. Since this is radio, I'll hold up a picture, but I think you should explain.
Well, and actually, even for your aiming problem, I can fix that too, because if you follow the steps in the system, there's we start off with a full litter box. We use our own dissolving cat litter, and our litter box has drainage holes in it. So all you got to do is you bring your litter box from wherever it is in the house, get it into the bathroom, have it sit next to the toilet for about 1 week. Then you attach our system, put our dissolving cat litter in there, sprinkle 1 tablespoon of your old cat litter on top of our cat litter. That establishes the odor for the cat. And then about a week or two later, you open up a hole in the center of our litter box on top of the toilet. And by the way, that hole is a perfect aiming area for young men and boys. But then that hole just progressively gets larger. And as it gets larger, the cats begin to walk out towards on a platform that we have specially designed within our seat. So by the end stage, or stage 6, it's a 6-stage system. The last stage of the system, there's no litter, no drainage. It just has a platform for the cat to stand on, and they make it in the hole every time.
Well, see, I can imagine they'd want to scratch and cover it.
Well, yeah, the scratching sensation is virtually eliminated by the time they get to about stage 4. Reason being is that the reason that cats are scratching so much is they're trying to get rid of that odor. And what cats begin to realize with this system is as everything's going into the water displaces that odor better than any cat litter that I've ever found on the market. The cat scratching sensation just virtually goes away because they realize that they don't smell anything anymore.
How long does it take to go from step 1 to step 7, training your cat to do that?
It varies from obviously the cat's behavior. Some cats like water, others a little bit apprehensive with it. But we've seen cats go from as quick as 3.5, 4 weeks. That was actually our first cat. Our second cat took 5 months. And we actually have cat shelters now. We have 25 cats, and they use it with 2 restrooms.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you right now that I already have to wait for 2 girls and my wife to get into the bathroom. And now it would be, we have 4 cats. So I could never get into it. I need to get a house with a second bathroom is what I need. This is a great idea. Cat of Thrones is the website. Is that correct?
Yeah, cats, so plural, CATSOF Thrones.
All kinds of interesting people listening to Animal Radio.
Absolutely, yeah. We heard your show just as we were actually going to a pet show in Orange County, and we heard your show, and we had to give you a call about it.
So what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? You're going to see us on TV and across the country in about 4 major retailers. I won't give up the names yet, but you'll see them here in a few months because it's really taken off for us.
Well, you keep me posted. We should get one in here and try the cats.
Yeah, I put it in the men's bathroom. I'm not putting it in the women's.
Well, thanks so much for hanging with us, talking with us, and giving us a call and listening to Animal Radio.
All right. Look forward to it. I'll be listening. Thanks
Take
a lot.
care. I bet you wish you had invented that, Alan.
Yes, I really do. I really wish I had invented that because A, I need money, and B, it would mean I was smart and I had some brain going for me. Dang it, that's genius right there.
It is. And we're going for a call for Dr. Debbie. We have Jim. Hey, Jim, how are you doing?
Good. I've got 2 small dogs, and they got into, I don't know which one ate the most, or if they both ate. If one just ate the whole thing and the other one did not get any.
What did they get into?
What'd they eat?
Pork rinds.
Pork rinds. Oh, I used to eat those all the time when I was on the Atkins diet. Okay, so was this a full bag of pork rinds?
It would be probably about a half a bag.
Okay, all right. Well, and is anybody showing any symptoms as so far?
Not so far, but I'm no longer with the dogs right now. I had to hit the road, and so my wife is watching them. But we did have one dog years ago that we gave him pork chop fat. and she died from it. So
I don't understand. We got to back up here because I'm completely confused. Pork rinds are not good for dogs?
Okay, pork rinds are, really high in fat. It's basically the deep fried fat from pork, and it's going to have a lot of salt in it, so it's kind of cured. So because of those two things, the high fat and the high salt content, it definitely can be problematic. Now, depending on who got it and how much was ingested by each particular dog, this may be something as simple as some stomach upset with diarrhea or vomiting. I do tend to see dogs that get into this kind of thing. We'll even see a greasy nature to the stools when they're passing their stools. So that would definitely be, I'd say, on the lower end of the concern level. On the higher end of the concern level is something pancreatitis, which I might be suspicious might have been what was going on with your other baby, because we know that in dogs, when they eat a high-fat meal, they get into the garbage, they get into the leftover Thanksgiving goodies and overdo it, it can trigger a problem with the pancreas where too many of the digestive enzymes are released. It causes abdominal pain, vomiting, can be very serious. It can be life-threatening. So that would be on the higher end of my concern spectrum. Huh. And I think with that, that would really, for your situation, Jim, I would honestly say we'd have to watch and see how we're doing. If we saw any symptoms of anyone not eating, having vomiting, or just abdominal pain when you kind of touch their belly and kind of just gently squeeze, if they groan or kind of cry out, that would be a pet I'd get to the veterinarian right away. But, because we don't know who got what and how much, it may just be a matter of watching and waiting there.
Yeah. Should we maybe wean them off of food for a little while? And
How recently did this happen?
Just yesterday.
Just yesterday. Well, normally, if I have a dog that gets into something that they shouldn't, one thing you can do is, for some dogs, we will actually give a little bit of food along the time just to give them something else with some bulk. If it's already been since yesterday, I would probably just hold them off on a fast for at least 12 hours, just to see what happens. And, if you get past the point of 24 hours without incidents, you're going to be hopefully okay. Maybe still having some diarrhea at that point, but that'll be kind of the point of kind of going, whew, and hopefully we'll be past that in another 12 hours.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
goodness.
With our first dog that we lost, she did have something wrong with her pancreas and passed, so we're a bit concerned about it.
Yeah, definitely. So, if we would have caught these guys and I'd be talking to you like right after this happened, I'd probably be talking about some foods or some things we can do. But at this point, I think you're in the watch and wait mode there.
Okay, so far there's not really showing any symptoms.
Good. Well, very good. I hope everything turns out okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your call, Jim. Fingers crossed there. What kind of foods would you give in this dog after, if it was just right after? Are there certain foods that counteract pork rinds?
Mostly I would just be giving something with some carbohydrate, so whether that be just a dry kibble. For sometimes I'll actually give bread, believe it or not, just if it's something I want to absorb, something that's really greasy. But usually just a good, solid dog meal would be something I'd give them.
So pork rinds can't be good for humans, can they?
I don't know. I think anything in moderation. I just, you got to watch. There's a lot of salt in these suckers. If you've ever, I can't say I've eaten a full bag because I usually get greasified mouth after a while, but they really do make you thirsty. So, that would be the other thing for Jim to be ready for. Lots of drinking and lots of pee in there.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Would you like to pay lower fees and interest on your credit cards? Of course you would. Are you making more money than you were a year ago? If you're like a lot of us out there, barely living paycheck to paycheck, I doubt it. It just costs more to live today, and you're probably using your credit cards more. To help you, the credit card companies have issued the Credit Card Hardship Program. It's a free program that can help you by reducing their fees. We've set up a special hotline right now, so regardless of what credit card company you work with, we can help you negotiate through the hardship program. To qualify, you must have $10,000 or more in credit card bills, have a source of income or a job, and you're having a tough time paying your bills. Listen, we want to help you, so please make this free phone call right now to learn more.
800-245-1567. 800-245-1567. 800-245-1567. That's 800-245-1567. Paid for by the Debt Solutions Network.
Hi, everybody. This is Lori Morgan, reminding you to please spay or neuter your pets.
Hi, it's Alan Cable with another dog tip. Are you thinking of getting a dog? Well, here's some things to think about before you do it. Firstly, are you out of the house a lot? Do you work all the time? Give the idea of getting a dog some thought if you're in that situation. I mean, put yourself in the dog's shoes. Imagine being locked up all alone all day with, well, nobody to play with. There are some dogs that like to lay around a lot and they're less active, but most dogs need exercise. They need playtime and interaction. Sometimes folks don't think about it, but dogs are living things and you can't turn them on and off when you want to, like your TV. When you get one, you're making a major commitment to spend, the next 13 to 16 years of your life committed to a living thing, making sure it has a good life. I bring this up because a lot of folks go out and get dogs without actually knowing what they're in for. And again, education's your most powerful tool. You should read up. Ask yourself why you want a dog and make a list of all the reasons. Then look your list over closely, and if you still think you want a dog because you'd be a great dog parent and enjoy satisfying your dog's needs, decide whether or not you want a puppy or an adult dog. Puppies have lots of needs. They need exercise. They need to be around lots of people and lots of other dogs. They're learning about the world, and it's up to you to show it to them. Plus, you got to potty train them, teach them what not to chew on. In fact, you got to teach them all the rules and ropes. Adult dogs usually are a lot less work and a lot more mellow, too. In fact, it's possible to get a rescue dog or an adult dog that requires very little. Maybe just a good long walk every day and some affection. The one thing you don't want to do is bring a dog home and be in for lots of surprises, not know what to expect. You know, stuff like finding your favorite shoes chewed up or the drapes pulled down, carpet pulled up, door chewed up. I've seen it all. You would not believe the destruction that a dog can do to your house. So before you get a dog, think long and hard, make a list, and do a lot of research and reading so that you both can be happy. I'll tell you this much, there's nothing more rewarding than having a dog. They're incredibly loyal, they're always happy to see you, they never lie to you, and they give you unconditional love.
Hey, this is Paula Pouncer. Wait, I forget where I am.
Animal Radio.
Animal Radio, I love that. Oh, hey, this is Paula Pouncer on Animal Radio. Spay and neuter your pets or we're going to be eaten alive!
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing good. I have a very contrarian cockapoo that does not want to get trained.
Wow. Well, maybe Alan can help you here.
Maybe you don't want to be trained, Wayne. Maybe that's the real problem here.
Well, I've had big dogs all my life, like Labs and Great Dane, and I've never, ever had one that's been so stubborn as this little cockapoo.
What makes you say that, Wayne?
She was very difficult to get house trained, and I was home with her. I'm normally an over-the-road truck driver, but I was off on a shoulder injury when we first got her, and I was home for the first 4 months, and it took that whole time to get her house trained. And then, she's stubbornly refused to learn how to come, even though I've worked with her, like using a piece of fishing line on her collar to pull her when, just gently when she doesn't want to come. Most of the time, sometimes she's found out that there's a treat coming behind it when she does come. And then other times she just will stubbornly sit and look at you.
Well, Wayne, here's the thing. Every dog is different and yet the same, because each breed has their traits. They all have different traits, different things that they were bred to do. But because each dog is different, us humans have to learn how to teach our dogs what we want. And sometimes you think your dog is being stubborn, but in reality, your dog doesn't know what you want. So the best thing you have to do, the first thing you have to do before you try to teach your dog anything is tire that little boy out. You got to take him out. I don't know what he likes to do, if he likes to run around like a maniac or if he likes to go for walks, because dogs love walks. They look forward to them. They relish walks. So you get him tired out. I mean, you get him to where he's running around for 40 minutes to where all he wants to do is pant and lay there. And then let him rest a little bit, and that's when you train your dog. That's when you teach your dog things, when he's all tired out, because he's going to be much more receptive to you. And I like to play a little game to teach a dog to come. What I do is I just put him on a leash, and I will teach the dog to stay, by rewarding him for sitting still, which is easy to do when they're tired. And then I'll just say, come, and give him a gentle tug. And I'll do it over and over and over again. You have to remember that a dog has a 2-year-old brain. It's never going to get any better than that. Most people will brag about how smart their dogs are. They're really not that smart. It's that simple. They learn through repetition and reward, repetition and reward. You do it over and over again. And then you take the leash off and you say, come, and you'll see your dog will come to you. It may take you a couple of days, a couple of weeks to get this done, buddy, but you've got to be patient, and you've got to stop describing your dog as stubborn. Your dog is not stubborn. Your dog is just not understanding what it is you want. Remember that.
All right. Yeah. Okay,
buddy.
I will certainly work on that.
All right, pal. Good luck to you, buddy. And call back and let us know how it's going.
I will. All right, thanks.
There he goes. Wayne calling in 1-866-405-8405 to talk to any one of the Dream Team. Could be Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable, or Joey Villani stuck in traffic. Is that the deal? He's stuck in traffic? Is that why he's not here?
That's what he's saying.
Okay.
When you're famous like that, I mean, if people get wind of you, they look through the window and they see you, there's going to be a commotion.
Big crowd around him.
Especially if he's driving in his Porsche.
His Porsche with the top down. So it's really, he doesn't have the tinted windows like you do. So
how does he get in that car? How does he get in there?
It takes a few people, actually, to help him in.
Yeah.
You should have seen him like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he wouldn't have fit in the car a couple of years ago, but he fits in there now.
He's the only guy alive needs the jaws of death to get in the car.
See what happens when you're not here, Joey?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm here every week. I don't want everybody talking behind my back.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is John O'Hurley. You're listening to Animal Radio. And remember, most importantly, please spay or neuter.
I am the family dog. And it's that time of year again. The one where pet parents start looking for Fido-friendly hotels and destinations where Fido is welcome. Make no bones about it. Pets are part of the family, and we like to sniff out new places too. And we hate to be turned away, especially when we're on our best behavior. So we won't be left out in the cold. Be sure to pick up a copy of Fido-friendly magazine to find the best hotels and destinations where Fido is always welcome. Go online to FidoFriendly.com and subscribe today.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. A man in Miami is responsible for capturing and killing the largest Burmese python ever recorded in Florida. According to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, this record-breaking serpent was a 128-pound female. It measured 18 feet 8 inches in length. Now, that shattered the previous record of 17 feet 7 inches. Apparently, Miami resident Jason Leon was driving in a rural area of Miami-Dade County when he and a passenger spotted this giant reptile in the roadside brush. Well, he grabbed the snake by the head and he began pulling it out of the brush. That's when this python began wrapping itself around his leg. After he got some help from his buddies, Leon killed the snake with a knife. Kristen Summers of the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says the commission is grateful to Leon for safely removing the large snake and then reporting it to authorities. A rare 19th century torpedo is back in the Navy's hands thanks to the works of a few bottlenose dolphins. The LA Times reports Navy-owned dolphins discovered a Howe torpedo while being trained to track down underwater objects off the California coast. Only one of the antique underwater weapons was known to exist prior to the discovery. The dolphins are trained to use their natural sonar to discover objects that not even billion-dollar military technology can detect. The torpedo is bound for the Washington Naval Yard, where it'll be cleaned and then put on display. A designer in Seattle's come up with an easy way to transform an average house cat into king of the jungle, the lion hat. Yumiko Landers told Metro.uk that the idea for the feline headpiece came from her sewing group. While making something to fit the cats and dogs theme that week, Landers came up with a so-called hat that allows the cat to sport a lion's mane. The product even comes in multiple colors, including golden brown, black, gray, ivory, and husky. Landers sells the hats online through Etsy. I don't know if you've ever seen that website. It's great. It's got a lot of craft stuff. That's ETSY. And says she never would have expected it to be getting so many orders from all over the world. The American Heart Association has declared that pets, especially dogs, guess what? They're good for a person's heart. Further proof that dogs are among the best friends a person can have. Dr. Glenn N. Levine, director of Baylor University's Cardiac Care Unit, was quoted in a press release from the AHA saying pet ownership, particularly dog ownership, is probably associated with a decreased risk of heart disease. He said that owning a dog may help reduce cardiovascular risk because dogs bug their owners into taking them for walks on a regular basis. And dog owners were, according to the AHA study, 54% more likely than non-dog owners to get a suggested amount of exercise. So good news, no doubt. Get out there with your dog. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
Great news comes out of Finland, where, of course, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer lives during the off-season.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's been they have a lot of these reindeer up there. I guess the big deal is they're hitting them with their cars all the time.
Ouch.
So they've been trying to figure ways to not hit the reindeers.
Right.
And they put reflectors on their antlers, which apparently they bite them off.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do. So now they're painting them with reflective spray paint.
Really?
Trying it out on 20 reindeer with fluorescent dyes to see how the animals react.
I want to see them. I want to see them catch the reindeer and hold them still while they're actually applying any of these things.
Yeah, really.
Well, there's over 200,000 reindeer there, just in the Helsinki area.
Wow.
So here's something that's really cool. This lady that we're about to talk to has a pet octopus. And we welcome to the airwaves Nancy King. Hi, Nancy. How are you doing?
Well, fine. How are you?
I'm so curious. I've got so many questions. I don't even know where to start. I guess, how does someone end up with a pet octopus?
Well, in my case, I was just looking for something new, and my husband gave me a plush octopus, a plushy toy. And I went online to find more about it and learned all about it, especially from the website www.tonmo.com, which is all about octopuses. And after that, I decided I wanted to keep one, but I knew it was a long path because I had no saltwater experience. So it took me over 6 months to set up a tank.
Wow.
And then you buy an octopus, really, it's online.
You buy it online?
Shipped to you.
Really? Now, did your husband object to this at all?
No, he agreed to help me. And we agreed that we would actually stick close by to be there for the octopus because we knew they didn't have a long lifespan. Maybe a year, maybe less.
Oh, really? They're short lifespan. Well, I know they have 3 hearts, which is interesting. I guess they also have a brain that's right around their esophagus. They're
the
really
interesting thing is that they have kind of a distributed nervous system, and they have, in essence, brains in their arms. It's quite different than the way we're set up. So that's a lot of what people are studying today.
Well, when I get a pet, I want a pet that I can interact with and stuff. So what do they...
How do you interact?
Yeah, how do you interact with... What do they do?
Well, if you get a good one, and all octopuses seem to have different personalities. So if you get a really good one, they watch you. They always make eye contact. And so they're watching you and you're watching them.
Uh-huh.
And usually start out with a feeding stick, which is something long like a skewer, and you put a piece of shrimp on the end of that. And you put it down in, and they get used to you feeding them.
So they eat seafood, obviously. Okay.
Oh, yes, and they like most expensive type. They like crabs and shrimp, mostly.
They like to go to Red Lobster.
You can't run out and get octopus chow.
No, you cannot do that. But you can run to Whole Foods and get shrimp.
Well, that can't be a cheap...
No, and people should realize that they'll think, well, an octopus is not expensive. Well, the octopus itself might be under $50. But by the time you figure out the food and all the extra equipment and this and that, having crabs shipped in, which I did, They came in the mail.
Now, did your octopus play games with you?
Yes, played a lot of games.
What did they do?
I suppose the first one was when she learned to pull off the magnet. The cleaning magnet has two sides, an outer side and a side inside the water. And she pulled that off, creating a great clunk. And first of all, we'd all come running because we'd hear it. But then she would retreat into her den, and she would dangle the cleaning magnet out on one sucker. And I would reach down to get it, and she'd zap it inside her den again. And she did this again and again. It was frustrating but funny.
Oh, wow. We are with Nancy King. She has a 8-legged pet, an octopus, and I understand that the octopus will watch a lot of TV.
I had 6 people report to me that they did this. My octopus, and I should say that Ollie is no longer with us, but she was a victim of that short lifespan.
Yeah.
Anyway, these other people did have their tanks where the octopus could see the TV, and they reported that the octopus was interested in sports and cartoons, bright, moving pictures like that. One claimed that his octopus watched the football games with him.
Do they get out of the tank? Can they escape?
Yes, they do.
Can they live out of water?
Octopus-proof it. They can live a little while out of water. The kind of octopus I had actually goes into tide pools, crawls into tide pools, hunting for food. So she gets out of the ocean and is on land a bit. And so they can live a while, not long, maybe maximum half an hour out of water.
I understand, well, first of all, the tank is 55 gallons, but I understand you have to have an emergency backup tank. What is that for?
Well, if I were buying it today, I would buy a larger tank. We're learning all these things more. I would buy 75 to 125 gallons. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have a backup tank for food. Also, it can be there in case of emergencies. Something happens with the water.
What could happen to the water?
Well, the octopus could ink, for one thing.
Ink?
The equipment, the protein skimmer, will take most of that out fairly quickly. But
what is that all about? What is it? What are they doing? Is that a sexual thing? What is ink?
No. It's a protective thing.
Oh, okay.
And will it kill them if they live in it?
Well, it doesn't kill them. They don't live in it. You get it out of the water pretty fast. But if they were in the ocean and they wanted to get away, they could puff out a big ink cloud, and they would deter the predator. The predator would think maybe the ink cloud is the octopus. The octopus is meanwhile escaping.
I personally have never treated an octopus, but I do have doctors that work on marine life, that worked on rays, and all sorts of interesting kind of fish-like creatures. So, you know what? I know there's veterinarians out there that will address these. Have you ever had to take your octopus to the vet?
No. We support each other through this website, and we have access to marine biologists and people who work in labs and people who know more about medicines. So we know what can be used and what can't. And I never had any problems personally that I had to resort to any sort of treatment.
Well, I'm just really intrigued because for me, living 10 months is pretty sad. I would just wonder if, we got more marine biologists and vets involved, if these little guys could last a little longer.
Live longer lives.
Well, since they mate, no, they didn't mate. They breed at the end of their life in the sense that they produce eggs. They can actually breed much earlier, and the female octopus saves the sperm and uses it when she wants to. But that signifies the end of their life. They go into senescence or die after the eggs.
I think they could be very useful when you have empty ink cartridges for your printer.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. You're always thinking of the good stuff, Alan. Thanks so much for hanging with us today, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, nice to talk to you.
Take care of yourself. By the way, check out TONMO.com, which stands for the Octopus News Magazine Online. There you go.
I got to tell you, I don't understand the website. How many people do you think are out there that want to buy an octopus for a pet in the world?
You'd be surprised.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
Got an old car? You can donate it and save a life. The United Breast Cancer Foundation needs your help. They want to keep saving lives by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car or truck, running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Call now for free pickup. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, welcome back, my bud Mark. Traveling across the country with his, 23, 40, 50 dogs? You have a lot of dogs.
40, 50. I have a hard time keeping track of all of them.
I'm so envious. That sounds like so much fun.
Oh, really? All of them packed into an RV? It doesn't
Yeah,
sound like a lot of fun to me.
That's a lot of poop.
Yeah. Where are you now?
I'm down in the Keys. I'm on Marathon Key, so right now I'm going to hang out on the Atlantic side of the key because it's a little nicer here, more of a breeze, which keeps the mosquitoes away.
Oh, yeah. What, do you have any mosquito problems?
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to talk to you about this because first and foremost, I trust you guys and your dream team, Hal. I mean, when I have pet questions, who do I call? You. Right?
You usually call when you have any kind of question, but yeah, that's okay. I mean, I think I implicitly trust all of our doctors and trainers and everybody that works here at Animal Radio because they know what they're doing.
Well, and you're not gonna try and just sell me something. You know, you go to the internet and everybody wants to sell you a product. So here's my question is actually it's got two levels here. I'm concerned about my dogs and I'm concerned about myself. So there's, it's mosquito season in most parts of the country right now, and I want to keep the mosquitoes off the dogs because naturally the mosquitoes go where the hair is thinnest, around the ankles, the top of the head, bridge of the nose, around their eyes, stuff like that. But I know that there's medication that you give them to, keep Nile virus and heartworm and all that other stuff out of them. But the mosquitoes seem to bother them. But then they bother me because you bring the dogs in the house. Oh, look at that. There's 20, 30 mosquitoes swarming off of the dogs. So I'm thinking, all right, well, I can spray, cutters and Skin So Soft and all this stuff on me, on my skin. So my logic tells me, well, maybe I could spray it on the dogs. But I realize the dogs are going to lick their paws and lick various areas. So,
okay, and you have only dogs?
What do we do to keep mosquitoes off of dogs so that we're not bringing them in the house?
Okay, and do you have only dogs you're traveling with, or do you have cats as well?
I have just dogs, but I'm sure
dogs.
It could be the same with cats. And in fact, I have a friend of mine who has a bunny rabbit, and they were saying they can't even take their bunny rabbit outside because the same thing. All the mosquitoes swarm inside the fur, and then they become free range inside the the house.
Okay, well, that just helps to clear things up because with cats, we have a little different rules when it comes to some of the flea products. They are very sensitive to some of the very common flea, tick, mosquito repellents that we might use. So you just have to use a different set of rules with cats. For dogs, I mean, you can pretty much pick up most flea, tick sprays that are pyrethrin-based, which is a common ingredient in insecticide, safe for animals. If you have cats, you have to be careful. You can't use some of these dog products with them. But that would be one thing that if you're going outside, you can spray that on them, and it'll give them some short-term relief while you're going out to keep those critters away. Now, but you did mention some other things that are kind of natural, and Skin So Soft, believe it or not, is proven to help repel parasites. So mosquitoes do stay away. And in animals, we can use it. I usually do dilute it. I try to dilute it about 50% with water. You can put that in a spray bottle, spritz it on them, other than being maybe a little oily kind of texture that you feel on their fur. It's very safe, and it works. So I would definitely endorse that. And it's interesting, there's a lot of different kind of natural oils essential oils, folks that are looking for natural remedies, they do repel mosquitoes. You just have to be a little bit cautious with some of those products, making sure you don't get high concentrations so they're not toxic. And one essential oil actually comes from catnip, and I actually read a research article a ways back that proved that catnip was a far more effective mosquito repellent than DEET by 10 times. I don't know that they figured out how to put catnip into a form we can administer on top of our pets, but but it might make our cats happy about that.
Let me ask this, because so many old-timers and people who, Coast Guard guys and all these people are always out, in the Caribbean and whatnot. They rub themselves down with baby oil, and they say that keeps the mosquitoes off because the mosquitoes don't want to get anywhere near oil. Is baby oil safe for a dog?
Baby oil, I don't believe has any essential oils, and I would be a little concerned because if we're slathering on an oil, it can actually amplify the sun's rays and the sun exposure, so we have more chance for sunburn and things like that. So I probably wouldn't go with that route. But a lot of the regular flea tick products that you use, Advantix, there's other spot-on products, those have repellency for mosquitoes, so you can use that and maybe also add in something like a kind of a natural relief, Skin So Soft being one of them. So I would try, a combination of those things. And, you mentioned like cutters and some of the things that we use for ourselves. We can use DEET in low concentrations on dogs, and there are dog products that have it. It's usually, I believe it's under 10% concentration of DEET, but you have to watch. The human stuff is high potency, so it's usually 50 to 90% DEET. So you have to use caution, and I definitely prefer folks use a pet-approved product if they're looking for a deep one.
Okay, see, now that's why I called you, Hal, because I got a straight answer, something I could understand.
I got the connections here with Dr. Debbie and Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani. You know it. I got the hookup. Thanks for calling, Mark. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. So silly.
That's all we have for today. Be sure to check us out at animalradio.com and download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. You can ask your questions right from the app as well as listen to the shows. A whole bevy of information and resources at that app anytime you desire. We'll catch you next week for more Animal Radio right here on this fine station.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
This is Animal Radio
Network.